Let's rank the 12 best quarterbacks in the G5. I've already done the SEC, I've done the Big 10, the Big 12, and the ACC, but now it's time for the G5 teams and showing them a little bit of love because they don't get a lot of it from the big-time sports analysts and stuff like that. So your top 12 G5 quarterbacks, I have 2 honorable mentions. Number 14 is Thompson, the transfer from Oregon. He transfers to Tulane, a former 5-star at Oregon. He spent 3 years there, and in limited time, he showed he was really good and can lead a team. Now he comes to Tulane with Willie Fritz and his coaching staff just leaving. John Summerall comes in from Troy, and Tulane has always had good quarterbacks, most recently Michael Pratt, and I think Ty Thompson can be the next one there. Second honorable mention, Malachi Nelson, former 5-star at USC, is now at Boise State, and he's the head guy for a team that's looking to win the Mountain West for the 2nd year in a row, and this time around go to the college football playoff and be that G5 team that goes to the playoff. And they are so talented to do so. They have Ashton Jeanty, one of the best running backs in the country, coming back, and they also have new head coach that took over last year. As soon as they hit their spark, he was the biggest reason for it. Spencer Danielson comes in, so a lot of expectations for Boise State and especially Malachi Nelson. Now officially the list. Number 12, Brett Gabbert at Miami of Ohio. Brett Gabbert's biggest issue has been health, or he'd be much higher. His healthiest year was his freshman year, where he played, I think, 14 games, and he hasn't even got close to that since. His best year was his 3rd year in 2021 for Miami, and he threw 26 touchdowns and 6 interceptions in only 10 games. That was his best year. He has the talent to do so and be a really good quarterback. He just has to stay on the field. Number 13, Braden Schaeffer at Hawaii. He's coming off his best season there, over 3,500 yards, 26 touchdowns, 14 interceptions, and in the last 4 games, he even showed his mobility and what he can do on the ground. He's always had interception problems, and this past year, he had 4 games with 2+ interceptions, so he just has to really limit those for Hawaii to be their best. Number 10, a new face at the FBS level, Matthew Sluka, transfers to UNLV from Holy Cross. He replaces Jade Maeva, who just left UNLV after a really good season, and he goes to USC for whatever reason. But that's a different story. Matthew Sluka is a weird quarterback to evaluate. So far, his best attribute is his rushing ability. Over 1,200 yards rushing last year in 9 games. And he had a game where he rushed for 330 yards and 3 touchdowns. 330 yards as a quarterback. It's just crazy. Now, his passing game will have to be better for UNLV to be their best, but it's not that he was bad at it, he just didn't have to do it a whole lot at Holy Cross. It's only 1,700 yards in those 9 games, but he still had 20 touchdowns and only 5 interceptions. Number 9, Jaylen Rer at Arkansas State. After Arkansas State got, annihilated 110-3 in their first 2 games combined, Butch Jones looked at the freshman quarterback Jaylen Rer to come in, and he led them to 6 wins and a bowl appearance after that horrible start. Rayner came in and, as a true freshman, played really well and looked better than a true freshman. Had 2,600 yards passing, 17 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, and also added 400 rushing yards, as well as 5 more touchdowns on the ground. Number 8, TJ Finley at Western Kentucky, new quarterback at Western Kentucky. He has had a heck of a career, man. Started off at LSU, transferred to Auburn. Last year was at Texas State, where he had a really good season. Over 3,500 yards passing, 24 passing touchdowns, 10 interceptions, and 5 rushing touchdowns as well. Now he transfers to Western Kentucky, where he will be the starter under Tyson Helton's system, and in a system that just produced a NFL quarterback in Austin Reed last year. Number 7, Jacob Zeno at UAB. UAB went 4-8 last season, but it had nothing to do with the offense. Jacob Zeno led an electric offense that scored almost 30 points a ball game. Last year he threw for over 3,200 yards, 20 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. But what impresses me most about him is his completion percentage and his accuracy. Over 74% completion percentage. It is just ridiculous, especially when you factor in how much Trent Dilfer likes to throw in his offense. Last year, the first game of the season, he had a game where he went 38 for 41. He completed 38 out of 41 attempts. It's just insane. Number 6, Mikey Keane at Fresno State. Keane transferred from UCF to Fresno State last season, and in his first season at Fresno State, he threw for over 3,000 yards, 24 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, And he had a 3-game stretch at the end of the season where he did not play too well, but he definitely made up for it in the New Mexico Bowl. Number 5, Joey Agular at Appalachian State. Aguilar is coming off an awesome season at App State. He finished with over 3,800 yards passing, 33 touchdowns, and 10 interceptions. They started off 3-4, and they won 5 straight games, and Joey Agular rattled off a 5-game stretch where he threw for over 300 yards a game at a 65% completion percentage and a 4-to-1 touchdown to interception ratio. This was also the stretch that turned their season completely around, and they also beat James Madison at James Madison when JMU was 10-0 at the time and College Game Day went there. Just a heck of a season for him and App State. Number 4, Byron Brown at South Florida. Byron Brown is coming off an amazing season at USF. He threw for over 3,300 yards, 26 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. He also had over 800 yards rushing and 11 more touchdowns. USF and Alex Golish have so much momentum going into 2024, the most since that wild 2007 season where USF got all the way up to number 2 in the rankings. Number 3, Jordan McLoud, the new quarterback at Texas State. He transfers from James Madison. Jaden Delora, the former quarterback at Arizona, is also at Texas State, but I think Jordan McLoud will get the start. McLoud is coming off an historic season at James Madison. They started off 10-0 and finished with 11 wins total. He threw for over 3,700 passing yards, 35 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, and he also added 8 rushing touchdowns on the ground as well. Man, he is just a beast, and he didn't follow Curt Cignetti to Indiana. Curt Cignetti actually picked Curtis Rourke from Ohio, and Jordan McLoud opted to go with Mikey Keane and what he's building at Texas State. Number 2, Seth Henig. Henig is the quarterback for my pick to be the G5 team that makes the playoff. I think the Memphis Tigers will make the playoff. That is my prediction. Henig is coming off an amazing season at Memphis. He threw for 3,900 yards, 32 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, and he also added 5 rushing touchdowns as well. He led them to 10 wins, and their only 3 losses came to an 11-win Missouri team by a touchdown. They got blew out by Tulane, an 11-win team as well, and then also they lost to SMU, another 11-win team. And I really think Memphis can do it this year. They have the wide receivers Rock Taylor, Demir Blankumsey to do it. So excited for them, and I cannot wait for that Week 3 matchup against Florida State. Number 1, though, Kaden Salter at Liberty. He's going into his 4th year at Liberty, and he just came off the first season in which he played all 12 games, and he ended up playing 14 because of how good their season went. Started off 13-0, won their CUSA conference, and then got to a New Year's Six Bowl where they just got obliterated by Oregon. But Salter, stats-wise, had an amazing season, 2,900 yards, 32 touchdowns, only 6 interceptions, and he also added 1,100 rushing yards with 12 more rushing touchdowns. It's just crazy. If you play college fantasy football, you need Kaden Salter to be your QB1. A lot of people say it was against a weak CUSA conference and that Jamie Chadwell always has his offense centered around the quarterback, so his quarterbacks will get these stats, but I don't care. Kaden Salter is a beast, and I think he'll prove it again this year with a stronger CUSA conference. And Liberty has the opportunity to shut people like me up and make the playoff as the G5 team to do it. But we'll see. But yeah, guys, that is my top 12 G5 quarterback rankings, along with 2 more honorable mentions. Could have come up with 5 or 6 more honorable mentions because there's a lot of good quarterbacks in the G5. Just don't sleep on anything outside of the Power 4. It's just no fun if you just watch that only. So if you do like this content, just like and subscribe. It helps the channel so much. Follow us on TikTok, 3and Out CFB on TikTok, and on Twitter, 3and Out _CFB. Means so much. Appreciate y'all for watching.